paused. I'm aware of that. We are, I believe, live now on Facebook. I'm going to share it with the Synagogue Facebook page. In addition to being live on Facebook, we will shortly be live on YouTube and our synagogue webpage as well.
We have people in Connecticut and on the West Coast also joining us today.
So I am adding the name of Temple Beth Shalom into the headline here, and we'll now post this here on our own synagogue Facebook page. Welcome, everyone. It is 6:28, so we still should be streaming at the time frame of a moment before the service begins. As a tech tip, any of you who would like to adjust the size of the slide versus the people you are seeing may do so by going up to the top. Lori Salo just came in with my Haverford classmate, Scott Salo, I believe.
Oh, wow. Yes.
If you remember Scott, we should have
do.
Haverford and Bryn Mawr
Sure.
folks with us tonight as well. Go up near where you see a green bar towards the top, underneath the long black bar. Go to the. It should read, "You are viewing Michael Feshbeck's screen." Go to the right of that, where it says "View Options," and click that. Pull down the pull-down menu. You should have the option to do side-by-side view. If side-by-side view is on, you can then move your mouse over to the area in between the slide and the cameras that show us, and you can adjust the size to whichever you would like. If you would like us to be very, very small and easier to read the slides, go ahead. We won't be offended if you would like to make them equal so you can see us as well. Ellen, I know that you have raised your hand, but I'm really not great with this. I don't know. You can try the chat, but I will see what we can do. We are about to begin. I have 6:30. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to everyone. I'm Rabbi Michael Feshbeck. I'm about to introduce my partner for this night, and I will put the screen and spotlight on her in just a moment. I'm delighted for this service, and I'm really thrilled to welcome here with us, and that should be now on you, Cantor Dorothy Goldberg. We go way back. My wife Julie and I know, we knew her as Dottie, but Cantor Goldberg from long ago in Philadelphia, where we were classmates. I went to Haverford. Julie and Dorothy were classmates at Bryn Mawr. We mistakenly thought that she was the song mistress of her class then, but that was perhaps later at a reunion. We have overlapped in many places. She knows family members of Julie's in Connecticut. We have overlapped in other places as well. But when Julie and I visited Puerto Rico to Temple Beth Shalom, who joins us, many of you joining us tonight, and welcome to all of you. We were welcomed by Cantor Goldberg with such grace and warmth. It was as if no time had passed, or even we were acquaintances before, but really it has deepened into a real friendship then. So Cantor Goldberg, I'm delighted to welcome you, and any words of welcome you have.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you, Rabbi Feshbeck, also for inviting me. And as you've said, we've been friends for a long time. And I would have actually been in St. Thomas a few years ago to do a week-long Cantor in Residence program. And it was in November of what year?
2017.
2017, and guess what came before? Irma and Maria. So we were never able to do that. So I'm thrilled to be able to join you this way better than nothing, right? So I'm really, really looking forward to this. And also thank you for inviting my sometime congregants from Temple Beth Shalom in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Hello, everybody. Great to see you. And we also have family and friends in Connecticut and I think in Maryland and on the West
And we have
Coast.
some Haverford and Bryn Mawr classmates joining us tonight, so welcome.
Excellent. Excellent.
I want to open tonight with an anecdote to explain why we chose the theme that we did. And it refers to an anniversary. 57 years ago today, in a conversation I do not remember because I was clearly too young to remember it, my parents, this is a story I've shared only a couple of times in my life. My parents apparently had a heated argument with one another. And the argument was whether they should go downtown. They went on to regret that, as I am muted.
Yes, sorry, my fault.
They went on to regret that decision of not going downtown very deeply. So I made a vow when I first heard about a gathering today on the anniversary, and I anticipated taking my daughter to Philadelphia, but stopping in Washington on the way. And I anticipated being there in person myself. There are moments in our lives, and I wonder if this year, this time is such a moment. All I can do in recognition of that moment, though, is join with Cantor Goldberg in the theme for this night. This night, 1 week after the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage, although I just learned it took 15 additional years here in the Virgin Islands. I don't know about Puerto Rico. And on the anniversary of the March on Washington. So we come together this night for perhaps a little more English than we sometimes do, but some Hebrew mixed in as well. We come together this Shabbat. I'm delighted to join with Cantor Goldberg for Songs of Peace and Justice as we go to the next slide, and I share the spotlight. I turn the spotlight back to her.
Thank you, Rabbi Feshbach. So many of you know this text, Lo yisagoy el goy cherev, v'lo ilmedu od milchama. Nation shall not take up sword against nation. They shall never again study war. So this is a two-part. Many of you know this. You can choose either part you want if you like to sing harmony. But first I'll just teach you. Ayo, ayo. You can do that at home. Ayo, ayo. And then we'll add. Lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilmedu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilmedu od milchama. Eyo, eyo, eyo. One more time. Lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilmedu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilmedu od milchama.
We continue with a chant of Lechu Naranana, the opening psalm of Kabbalat Shabbat and continue on with a setting of Shiru Ladonai that has been one of my favorite settings, but which I have not brought to our congregation yet. So I'm delighted to hear it and have Cantor Goldberg lead it tonight.
L'chu ranana l'Adonai, nahariel l'tzur yishenu, nekad mafanav betoda, bizmirot nariya lo. Shiru l'Adonai, kol Shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai, Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
A word before we go on. It is clearly the case, as we look around the world today, that spiritual communities struggling to live by the commandments we inherit from our tradition. Those commandments have implications in the way we live our lives, and that inevitably spills onto involvement with the issues of our society. And so we often address moral concerns. We do not, however, want to be directly political, which is why I want to share with you that Cantor Goldberg and I laid out this service 3 weeks ago before this next song would seem like it was a direct reflection of one of the political conventions. It is not meant that way. This is meant as a substitute for Or Zarua, the traditional psalm here, which talks about light is sown for the righteous. Back to Cantor Goldberg.
I bet everybody knows this and can sing along. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine for you and me. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine for you and me. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine for you and me. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Today, let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And tonight, let it shine for peace and justice. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine for peace and justice. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine for peace and justice. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
We are joined by folks from St. Croix at the moment as well. So we are reaching out over the Caribbean. We continue with an Italian setting, just to keep many nationalities involved here, of Lecha Dodi, one which I am less familiar with.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem ultiferet v'litehila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lachun elcha, Ki makor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh v'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Kiva orei kumi ori, Uri, Uri, shir daberi, Kavod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela.
If we're able to do so, please rise.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'tola, Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela.
To honor the Sephardic heritage and connections of both our St. Thomas and Puerto Rico congregations, this setting of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא.
And we continue directly with Chatzi Kaddish with a reading afterwards before Baruch Hu.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
בעלמא דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן מעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and in unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. As we continue with Baruch Hu, this younger setting of Baruch Hu, if you are able to do so, please rise.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? La 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam vo'ed. Le'olam vo'ed.
Ma'ariv Aravim is about what happens in the evenings and at night.
And today being the anniversary of I Have a Dream, this is a dream that we hope will come true. Last night I had the strangest dream I ever dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war. I dreamed I saw a mighty room, and the room was filled with men, and the paper they were signing said they'd never fight again. And when those papers all were signed and 1,000,000 copies made, they all joined hands and bowed their heads, and grateful prayers were prayed. And the people in the streets below were dancing round and round, and guns and swords and uniforms were scattered on the ground. Last night I had the strangest dream I ever dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war.
In English, unending is your love for your people, the house of Israel. Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts have you taught us. Therefore, O God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and rejoice in your Torah and mitzvot forever. For they are our life and the length of our days, and we will reflect upon them day and night. Then your love shall never depart from us. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who loves your people Israel. Baruch
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני מערבים. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Elohechem, emet.
אמת.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. Wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, יבבה בים בים בם, יבבה בי בים בם, יבבה בים בים bam, yabba bye bye bim bam. Hi 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 yabba bye bye bim bam. Hi 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 yabba bye bye bim bam. Malachutecha ra'u banecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe. לבוקי הים לפני משה, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יבבה בים בים בם, יבבה בי בים בם, יבבה בים בים בם, יבבה בי בים בם, איי 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 יבבה בי בים בם, איי 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 יבבה בי בים בם. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
גאל ישראל.
Ashkivenu with Cantor, Goldberg's translation, along with Craig Taubman's setting.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, מעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, מעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, מעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, מעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. Shekhinah protect us on all our travels. Give us life, give us peace, now and forevermore. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, ma'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, ma'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim.
There is something I forgot to mention at the beginning of the service. Of all the places that I have watched Cantor Goldberg travel or seen her in, she now lives on the West Coast, but that is not where she is at the moment. I hope they have good coffee where she is, because she is actually joining us tonight from Denmark. So this is well into her Shabbat. It is the middle of the night.
It
Uh,
is, it is 1 in the morning.
1 in the morning as we gather here together. And it is a reminder that somehow across time and space, this, Ahad Ha'am said, more than the Jewish people has kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jewish people. The Shamru, the slide in front of us from, with Cantor Goldberg leading us from Denmark, and she can then teach me how to actually correctly pronounce the names of the streets around here. But
Not quite yet. Give me a little time. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובני בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
so many weeks we have focused here during this pandemic on this sense of whether we will go in or whether we will not. What blinds us, what evades us. Tonight, instead of the reading in front of us, we are back where we were a few months ago. We are back to I Can't Breathe. We are back to having to watch not only what is in front of us, but having to watch our own backs. We are back to a time when we need to take the time to remember that we are all in this together. For if we are not all together in life, we will surely be separated in all of our paths. We continue with the Amidah, the Tefillah And as you are able to do so, please rise.
Adonai sefata tiftach ufi agita tehillattecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Standing or seated, whatever is your custom at this point. Instead of the traditional avodah, which means work, as well as prayer, as well as labor, as well as worship, we take this other symbol of work or a symbol of justice that I hope some of us, at least those who were born in a different century, are familiar with.
If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer at danger, I'd hammer at warning, I'd hammer at love between my brothers and my sisters over this land. Ooh, if I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out a warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters over this land. Ooh, if I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening all over this world. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out a warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Ooh, well, I got a hammer and I've got a bell and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. It's the song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
And instead of Oseh Shalom tonight, we thought, Cantor Goldberg's suggestion, that we would continue with this piece, familiar to both congregations, I believe, in Hebrew and in Arabic.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Oh, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
Koach, and thank you. It is a time where everyone is thinking about illness and health, wellness and well-being, and challenges, mortality and morality. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzhak v'Yaakov, V'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, V'yivarech v'yirapeh et hacholim ha'eleh. God who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Send your blessing and your healing, your comfort and your hope to any of these names that you would like to name out loud, and in addition to these names, as you in a moment would unmute and share any of those you are thinking of, those who are ill, those who are isolated and alone, those who are facing challenges at this time, or challenges not related to this specific time. As we mentioned at this time, John Schenkel, Jorge Palma, Jane Lipson, and we ask that you unmute to share any names that you may have.
Embellish. Aaron Cody.
Tim McGaffick.
Darcy Cody.
Andrew Alan Kossoff, Cyril Eck.
Nancy Rodriguez Ortiz.
Jessica Steinberg.
Dorothy Ring.
I need to say one for you.
Robert Lester.
Adrian Dudley, Jennifer Arellano.
I don't know why you did
Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh Cholim, we praise you, O God, who helps us heal, who brings us comfort.
Mi sheberach avotenu Mekor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu Makor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
I am going to stop the screen share in a moment after Cantor Goldberg begins with her observations. The word love is written on top in the part that on my screen is at least blocked out by the bar on top. But here is a little bit about her for those who may not know that. And I am delighted to be able to do this with you. It is a miracle, and as I have said before, a silver lining in this dark time of our ability to connect and to be with people from all over the world. I can't look at the chat without pulling a black box onto the screen, and that is happening enough as it is. So those of you who are sending me questions by chats, but some of you, the rest of you can look and see as people are identifying themselves and where they are from. And welcome everyone. Cantor Goldberg, I will stop. Let me know when to put back up the two pieces we had talked about for the ending. But in the meantime, the screen that's supposed to be a spotlight.
Thank you.
The screen
Thank you so much.
is yours. There we go.
Well, today, as you know, is a March on Washington for the 57th anniversary of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, and we've been referring to that quite a lot today. I watched part of that march today, and I noticed that one after another, the speakers talked about how their loved ones, mostly victims of violence, inspired them to act for justice. One of them was Martin Luther King III, the son of Martin Luther King Jr. At the Democratic Convention last week also, Joe Biden talked about the deep grief he endured in his life, first losing his wife and young son, and then more recently losing his son Beau to a brain tumor. These people were inspired to continue on in the loving memory of those that they lost. And I have been too. And so tonight, as we think about love and peace and justice and how we move on in this world when things are so difficult, I want to share a little bit of my story. A lot of you who know me already know part of this, but I lost my husband to pancreatic cancer in early Early 2018, he was sick for only 2 months. So we didn't have a whole lot of time to plan. But he and I were both in hospice. He was a hospice doctor and I was a hospice chaplain at the time. And so we talked about, what kind of legacy does he want to leave? We knew he didn't have a lot of time. And being professionals, he said to me, the only thing I want to do is inspire other people to do good things in my memory, to carry on my memory. He and I, both being hospice people, had a reading that we really loved, and it happens to be a reading that you have in your liturgy too, and it's in the Mishkan Tefillah, the newest Reform prayer book. And I'm going to read it to you because it had great meaning to him and to me, and it's relevant to what we're talking about today. It's called Epitaph, written by a chaplain called Merritt Malloy. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother, walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give to them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands and letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. That message, when all that's left of me is love, give me away. I heard that message today. I heard that from Martin Luther King III. I heard that last week from Joe Biden. I heard that from George Floyd's family, saying, we don't want our loved ones to have died in vain. Take the love that they would have given us and give it away. Make it count. What does it mean to say, when all that's left of me is love, give me away? What's our responsibility to our loved ones? For me, it was marching orders that I got from my husband. And for me, some of you know I didn't sing for 6 months after he died. I needed to find other ways to find my way through the world. And for me, it meant professional chaplaincy training, which I have just finished toward national certification as a hospital and hospice chaplain. That was how I found ways to give his love away as well as mine. It has also meant giving my heart, my whole heart, to those that I love without restraint. It has meant during the time of COVID to carve out a whole new path based in love. So what does it mean for you and for all of us to give our love away? Well, Representative John Lewis, who died so recently, made it his life's work to continue the work of Martin Luther King Jr. and to give his love away by being a witness to injustice and a tireless champion of change through good trouble, as he said. Just today at the march in Washington, Martin Luther King III talked about how social change is all about love. He talked about how his father was murdered when he was only age 10, and then later his grandmother was gunned down in church when he was 16. But his family refused to turn to hate, he said. They said they would always walk forward with love, no matter what. And he said this about protest and change. We've got to find a way to do this with love. So this is our challenge, whether we do this in memory of those we love, and I'm sure you all have people in your lives who you've lost either through death or just lost touch with, but they've had an impact on you. They've affected our way of moving through the world. And we say, Olam Chesed Yebaneh, this line from the 89th Psalm, set to music by Menachem Creditor, we're about to sing it. It says it all. The world will be built with kindness. The world will be built with love. Think of those who you've loved and give their love away. Please sing with me. And while we sing, I wish for you all to find ways to navigate these crazy times in safety, in good health, and with a heart full of love. So please join me as we sing Olam Chesed Yebaneh. Olam Chesed Yebaneh, Yadadai, Dadai, Dadai. Olam Chesed Yebaneh, Yadadai, Dadai, Dadai. Olam Chesed Yebaneh, Ladadai, Dadai, Dadai. Olam Chesed Yebaneh, Ladadai, Dadai, Dadai. I will build this world from love. La-da-dai, da-dai, da-da-dai, dai. And you must build this world from love. La-da-dai, da-dai, da-da-dai, dai. And if we build this world from love, la-da-dai, da-dai, da-da-dai, then God will build this world from love. La-da-dai, da-dai, da-da-dai, la-da-dai, la-da-dai, da-da-dai. Olam Chesed Yebaneh, la-da-dai, da-dai, da-da-dai, dai. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom and Yasher Koach.
Thank you.
I am going to take this back for a moment before we turn it over. I think my president is on. So there was some discussion about who would be doing greetings, but I think it will be her. But before we do that, to Cantor Goldberg, because it is the middle of the night, I will point out that what we are about to do is meant as an alarm clock, a wake up call. Uh-oh.
Am I awake?
Am I prepared? However, it is a spiritual wake-up call. So
Please call on Trudy. Okay, sorry.
I don't know.
This is exciting.
All I can see is the end of the shofar. Come on into the picture. All right, there we go. The Kia Gedola. Mishkach.
Wow.
So I will go back to the slides in a minute, but I did hear you, Marilyn. Benjamin, can you help fix the the end on the far end? I appreciate it. There we go, much better. And I am delighted to welcome a past president and very active member of our congregation to share greetings, perhaps even doing so from Maine. Trudy, if you will, unmute yourself, and Trudy Pryor.
All right.
Shabbat Shalom.
Wow. Shabbat Shalom. I thought you said Marilyn was on, so I kind of relaxed. Anyway, welcome everyone. It's wonderful that we can be here in Maine and share Shabbat with Cantor Goldberg in Denmark, our friends in St. Thomas, and people all over the country, which is absolutely terrific. We miss our congregation, but this keeps us connected. And thank you very much, Cantor Goldberg, for your moving words and your beautiful singing. I will say it brought tears to my eyes and to my heart. So thank you. And I will be brief. I'm sorry Marilyn isn't here to welcome you all, but I'm delighted that you are with us and here in our home in Maine and in our sanctuary behind Rabbi Feshbach. And if you aren't already a high member of our congregation, we welcome you to join us. We're a small group with a lot of history, and we are welcoming people from around the world all the time, and we can use the additional support. So if you have enjoyed services with us, and as I said, if you're not already a high member, please do join us and keep connected. And Shabbat Shalom.
And become
Shabbat
a lifetime high member.
So welcome, everyone. That is going in the wrong direction. 1 second. I also had a couple of announcements. This is our soon-to-be distributed list of upcoming high holidays. I am sure. Sal, do you want to add anything from on behalf of Temple Beth Shalom?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So I also then wanted to share that we have 2 amazing musical experiences coming up during the High Holy Days on Slichot at 8:30 p.m. on Saturday, September 12th. We are joining with Temple Solel in Bowie, Maryland, and about 10 other congregations, it looks like, for a concert by Dan Nichols, and then followed by our student Cantor and I leading the Slichot service itself at 10 p.m. That should be an amazing evening. And just developing yesterday, I am delighted to announce that one of my favorite artists in the entire world, Yoel Sykes, is, I've been invited in through 2 congregations, one a conservative rabbi and the other a Reconstructionist rabbi, which leads to the joke, a Reform rabbi, a conservative rabbi, and a Reconstructionist rabbi walk into a bar mitzvah, but nobody. All right, so one of you laughed. But we will be on the second day of Rosh Hashanah. We're joining together for Tashlich in person at 10:30, socially distanced at Belongo Beach, but then at 12:30 on Sunday, September 20th, we'll join in with this concert, Rosh Hashanah concert offered by Yoel Sykes. So we now, Saul is in the waiting room. Did you have anything that you wanted to add as he gets back on behalf of Temple Beth Shalom, Saul? Sal?
No, I'm sorry. I tried to connect back, but my connection didn't work.
Okay, well, teaching us the importance of connections to each other. Shabbat Shalom, and Cantor Goldberg, Dorothy, thank you so much for sharing as much of your heart and soul as you did. I am going to attempt to, even though you're singing, to spotlight myself, because what I will then, whoops, that didn't work. What I will then be able to do is switch the background to open our arc as we continue with Aleinu. So as we continue with Aleinu and our open arc, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
As
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
based on the words of Hannah Senesh, the English setting set, I believe, Cantor Goldberg, this is by Jeff Klepper, the
I
English.
think so.
Uh,
It might be share. Anyway, not sure.
There are stars up above.
There are stars up above, so far away you only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember as we live our days. These are the ways we remember. We remember.
We remember Yusuf Avigdor, Abraham Bachrach, Alan Bachrach Jr., William Krefetz, Julius Edgar Lilienfeld, Samuel List, Bessie Newman, Gerald Prosterman, Goldie Ray, Esther Robles Sasso, Samuel Weisbard. From Temple Beth Shalom, Cantor Goldberg will continue.
We remember the recent death of Rebecca Martinez Rodriguez, cousin of Luis Sanchez. And we also remember these yard sites: Clarence Acevedo Maldonado, Manuel Irizarry, Alejandro Acevedo Rodriguez, Rose Koifman, Mario Wolf, Jose de Silva, Luis Iannelli, Moises Lopez Orta, Martha Levine, Anne Nemarowski, Bert Norman Rubin, and Stanley Strauss. And we remember the martyrs of our people, naming 6 of the Jewish citizens of Temple Beth Shalom's adopted community of Zhilava in the Czech Republic. These names are 6 of those that are recorded. We know that there were many others whose names and fates are forever lost. This week we remember Anna Fortova, murdered in Sobibor; Cecily Fortova, murdered in Treblinka; Bedlich Furt, murdered in Sobibor; Ermina Fortova, murdered in Sobibor; Josef Furt, murdered in Sobibor; and finally, all members of one family, Josefina Fortova, murdered in Treblinka. We take all of them into our hearts as we rise together as a congregational family.
One sec. We observe yard site for the following Chai members and those dear to our Chai members: Robin Aaron, Julius Alterman, Gussie Berman, Abner Blumenfield, Janet Bookspan, Barbara Carmichael, Max Cohen, Jeanette Cohen, Nancy Del Grosso, Max Dorfman, Yosef Ben Dovid, Helen Edlis, Ruby Ergot, Elliot Fine, Herman Glass, Morris Goldberg, Ethel Goldman, Joseph Goodman, Dr. William Hine, Rosalind Hirschfeld, Herman Katz, Morton Kirschnar, Samuel Kessler, Sandra Commissar, Francine Coppett, Sandra Kopp, Sylvia Lawrence, David Lenneman, Elizabeth Lenneman, Miriam Levian, Dorothy Levy, Sophie Mandel, Isidore Marcus, Dr. Justin Mooney, Norman Rosiner, Janice Rothschild, Donald Shacker, Sally Schaefer, Louis Schlefstein, Dr. Robert Schwartz, Melvin Schwartz, Shirley Shapiro, Rabbi Pinchas Shebshayevitz, Gertrude Sherman, Henry Schulman, Lauren Silver, Hannah Waldman, Morris Weiss, Nina Winkleman. During this period of Shloshim, we mentioned Joan Cohen and Theodore Benjamin Savransky, and during the year of mourning, Jacob Daniel Lester. We continue with Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, and as is the custom in our congregation, at least we rise as a congregation as a whole. You may follow your own custom or tradition for the words of the Kaddish prayer itself. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'ruichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel v'imru amen. I usually ask for other names, so I will simply mention at this time, and I did not do so earlier, but I will mention at this time, in addition to 182,000 of those, many of whose names we do not know, just in this country alone. And in addition now to the martyrs of Kenosha, and we will add Jacob Blake's name in for Mishaberach for the prayer for healing for next week. Thank you to my friend Josh, who sent that note in the middle of Mishaberach. To those in need of healing, we ask for healing to those who are mourning and remembering those who are lost at this time of loss. O God of peace, may the source of peace send peace to all of us and comfort all who are bereaved among us and wherever they may be, in all countries, in all congregations, in all communities everywhere. And together, let us say, Amen.
Amen.
So, Shabbat Shalom. Before we go on, that was interesting. We're actually going to need that, so I'm going to try it again in a second. Before we go on to the last slide here, a quick word that I hope we will stay together, and I think we may have Kiddush set up, but I will double check that in a minute. There are requests at services like this for We Shall Overcome. I have checked this with colleagues, clergy, African-American clergy and friends. Yes, it is still done sometimes, but it is kind of a white people trying to relate to black people kind of thing. It's sort of become that. What I think then is more powerful, Cantor Goldberg suggested, I agreed immediately, is this closing the alternative national anthem, as it were, of the African-American community. So your choice about remaining standing, but I share with you, this is not the whole thing, at least as I recall, this is not the whole thing. But we share together from Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Stony the road felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path, we pray.
May this be a time of peace and of justice, and of songs and lifting every voice and singing. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
I am going to
Shalom.
stop the screen share, go to gallery view, but 1 second while and please